Maybe first we'll give a bit of a broader picture and say that the ethnic rift or polarization is just one of those rifts which are revealing in today's society here in Israel that dispute us as a society, meaning there is a national rift and a religious rift, and within the religious denominations there are also rifts, and between the rich and the poor, and the Arabs and the Jews. In short, however you look at this society, it's divided into many, many parts. And one of the maybe painful things that happened in the last year, due to the recent elections we had here in Israel, I'd say that there's a new eruption of the ethnic rift that I think it seemed to all of us that it's behind us. We have to remember that we're living for many years here in Israel. Most of us have children that are mixed. Suppose my daughter, she's mixed. My parents, they're from Turkey. Her father, his mother was from Syria, and the father from Poland. There's a mixture. I remember one day she came back from school and she asked me, Mom, what am I? I said, what do you mean? She says, no, today we talked about Ashkenazians and Sephardics, so what am I? And then I explained that we're already mixed and it's something that belongs to the past, but we see that it's not exactly so. Turns out that the last elections surfaced it and opened Pandora's box, and out came sayings. By whom? The truth is, I think from all directions. Who incited it? Yeah, that's an interesting question. Did it come from the people? Did it come from the media? From the politicians? It's unclear where did it start. What's important here? Were it the Ashkenazians or the Sephardics that ignited it, or the right or the left? I think it started with the right and the left, if I correctly understand the system. I think that the political views are the ones that incited it. That you connect to a party according to the color of your skin. Yeah, there's a tendency to think that the Ashkenazians are inclined to the left and the Sephardics are inclined to the right. Of course, it's not exactly so, but this is the general perception. And what's interesting is that today, after so many years that we live in this country and most of us are already mixed, there is still identification and expressions, and really, it was a disgrace. I don't agree with this saying that we're all mixed. When I look at Israel today in one country, I see many different countries. No mixture, no nothing. There are walls and fences that separate things unambiguously. There are areas in Israel that if you enter and you're an Ashkenazian, then you look like an alien that came there. On the contrary, there are places that if you come there and you are Sephardic, you look like an infiltrator, and the feeling of belonging or alienation is very clear. Either you belong or you don't. Meaning, in one country, you can drive your car and take the wrong turn, and you enter the white country, or you enter the black country, and if by chance you made it through border inspection, then you feel it thoroughly, meaning that my kids, like Nitsa says, are mixed kids. It has nothing to do with it. The mixed children have nothing to do with the feeling that there is a complete and utter alienation here, distancing, rift. What happened here in the past year, it shows that the rift shows that we don't belong to them, they don't belong to us. Separation, like in the past, the UN divided, this is Palestine, this is Israel, or whatever. This is the feeling. In the public, this is what's felt. Okay, if we're talking about the younger generation, it's also so. I think that what Oren is saying, it's certain areas in Israel. There are many peripheries, cities that are almost closed. Not only in the periphery, there are areas in Tel Aviv that are very closed. Meaning the whites, so to speak. There are areas declared for the white and areas declared for the black. And there are many areas which are mixed that you don't really see it there. But what I want to say is that as if there is something that you can't explain. There is a knot that you can't untie. On the one hand, everything is mixed. On the other hand, there are these feelings that everything's separate, separated, utterly, disconnected, detached, completely. So, and this is why I defined what I feel this way. I don't even know what to ask about it. It's really painful. I don't even know. I don't have the words to describe it. My question is, what's going to happen with the Israeli society? Where is it all headed? First of all, I'm very happy that it's unraveling because if it's revealed today, it means that it was there yesterday and the day before, only it was hidden. And in order to treat any illness, as we know, we first of all have to discover it and make it even more conspicuous and study it and talk about it. The public should talk about it in a very good and strong way and not to cover it again as if it doesn't exist. We have to deal with it. We have to deal with it in a very serious, conspicuous way, drawing to it psychologists and experts and historians, politicians, public figures. The main thing are the experts for them to explain to us the depth of the matter. And let's all study it. Let's have it on the media, on the radio, on television. It has to be a national plan. But there's those that say that it's a waste of time. Talking about it only makes it worse. That those that have interests, they're the ones that awaken it. Look, you can ruin anything. If there is a disease, you can say, let's start treating it. And depending who's going to do the treatment, the patient might die. Or you can give it to experts that will heal the patient, but to cover it more and more, I don't think it's good. It has to be with everything, with the army and everywhere, every place and everything. And we have to only know how do we accompany it. Meaning that it's clear to us that at the end we have to be one people. Clear to whom? If we want to correctly exist in this country, we have to reach a state where, like it was in our roots, that we are one people. Yeah, but the feeling today is, when previously we talked about the two separate countries within one country, the feeling is that we've matured. And now, after all the illusions and delusions, we've matured and we're looking in the mirror, looking ourselves in the eyes. We're not one people. We don't want to be one people. Separate us, divide us, that's the right thing to do, and that's it. Meaning the dream and the illusion that this melting pot called the State of Israel will turn all of us into Israelis, dissipate it, you can bury it. That's it. So we have to be one people at the end. This is the exact antithesis to the feeling that exists among the people today. Today, people understand utterly that we have no chance of ever being one people with those, the other part. I'll never want my children to be like yours, and you'll never want your children to be like mine. So your feeling and our feeling as Israelis, it's two different ballparks. So maybe you see it differently, but where is it all headed? I'll repeat. I'm very happy that it's revealing, because a corruption which is revealed, it's a sign that it's ripe for correction. This is what I learned from the wisdom of Kabbalah, and I saw this on the development of the world and on my own development. We needn't hide it and say, okay, we're not talking about this because we can't correct it. On the contrary, our people can exist only on condition that all of us come closer to a state where we are as one man and one heart. Without that, there is no people. We're not a nation biologically. We're a nation by idea. And the idea is to be as one people. And therefore, now, in the 21st century, this is the time to be one nation. This is what we have to be, one people. And that finally, this disease is being taken out of its hiding place, and we can start discussing it and examining it, measuring it, investigating it, and gradually everyone has to learn it. We can't remain in our stigmas regarding one another. Like, there are those movies with that actor, Uri Zohar, how they make fun of the Ashkenazians that came here, and to this day, by the way, right. It's not that we have to stop it. It depends on what spirit you do it. And I also see to make fun of the Ashkenazians and Sephardics by some comedians in the theater. It was always a kind of an escape when there's something to say or something to do. We have to reach a state where we discuss it seriously, because, and I'm pointing at it, that I'm sure that here is the secret of our good future, our good fortune, the source of our well-being. Because if we raise ourselves above those differences, the differences, they can remain, and we'll raise ourselves above the differences where love covers for all crimes. By this, we will build the nation, and if we'll be as one people, no one can touch us, no one can defeat us, or even can come close to us with an evil intention.